Good morning again. How are you this morning, whoever you are? I hope you're fine. I hope you are in good health and humor and all that good stuff. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I talk about all things having to do with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, and his beautiful wife, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Um, It is my second video, my second of three, and I'm going to make this one short because I've got a student who's going to be calling me shortly, so I have to hurry up and get this done. So this topic, the second topic, is Harry's paternity test. Harry's paternity test. So I actually saw quite a few articles at 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and I was just scrolling the internet because I couldn't sleep. And I saw on Radar Online and a few other I guess they're tabloids, but tabloids that have tended to be quite accurate about certain things that they publish, had articles about King Charles recently, allegations that King Charles has recently demanded paternity tests for Harry, his son Harry. Um, I guess as recently as after the Queen's death, because apparently, in order to inherit from the British monarch, you have to actually be a blood relative of the British monarch. And apparently, King Charles made these demands that Harry submit to paternity tests. Now, obviously, I was talking about that issue yesterday, the paternity, the actual who actually is Harry's biological father. I didn't really talk about, I don't think I mentioned paternity tests because I didn't know that Prince Charles was demanding paternity tests. But I did raise the question of, whether King Charles is the biological father of Harry or just the legal father. I mean, I concluded that he is the legal father and that no matter what, Harry is still Prince Harry and he still has the right to inherit. And then I saw these articles that say that if he isn't a biological son of King Charles, that he would not have the right to inherit. I would have to look that up. I would have to do research. I don't know British law on this or even American law, frankly. Although I don't think we have any laws having to do with, who inherits from the king because we don't have a king or queen. But so this video is about whether Harry should submit to a paternity test once and for all to determine his paternity. And my answer to that is hell no, right? That's what I would advise my client. I think of Harry and Meghan as sort of my clients, but it's my job to defend them to the end. But why do I say that? I say that because, well, again, I don't know anything about inheritance law in England or even in America. It wasn't my area. It wasn't my area. But my instinct as a lawyer is that he should not submit to any tests. He should, because I think to have a paternity test at this point, Harry would have to agree. And of course, Prince Charles could, sue Harry or, the monarchy, the institution of the monarchy could bring a lawsuit against Harry to force him to submit to these tests, I would imagine. Or maybe the parliament could do it. I mean, I don't know. But because, I mean, you can force a man to submit to paternity tests to disprove or prove his paternity of children. But I don't know, or I have not heard of a situation where the reverse happened, where you force an adult to prove that they are your child. Let me try to think about that. I know there was that billionaire who who had a child with Elizabeth Hurley, and he denied paternity. Steve Bing was his name. I think he committed suicide subsequently, but the child was a minor, and he was trying to say the child was not his, and DNA tests proved that the child was his. I'm trying to think of were there any cases that I'm aware of where an adult was forced to submit to DNA tests. I know in um, is it Belgium where there was an illegitimate child of the Belgian king, and as an adult she asserted her right to be considered an offspring of the king and to inherit. And the father, I think, was forced to submit to DNA tests. So for me, it's always been the case where it's the adult, the father, who, or the parent, who has to prove or disprove the paternity. I don't know where there's an adult who has always thought of him or herself as a child of this particular person, who is then sued by this particular person as an adult to prove that this adult is their parent because this adult told them that they're the parent. I mean, in other words, King Charles has held Harry out to the entire world as his son for 38 years. This is not Harry's fault. He did that, right? And now he's saying, you know what? I need you, Harry, to prove that you are my son. Excuse me, sir. You told me that I was your son. Now you want me to prove that I'm your son? That's not my burden of proof. And so, what I would advise my client to do is just categorically refuse to take the test. Because at this point, he's a prince. He's Prince Harry. He's been Prince Harry for 38 years. That's who he is. And he has a right to inherit from the British monarch because they told him he was the baby, not them. He was the infant. He was the child, right? He came into this world by some means. He didn't create himself. And this man said to him, I'm your father. And this man has held him out as his son for 38 years. And this man has called him, Prince Harry and educated him and raised him. And, he calls this man Pa, right? Now you want a DNA test from me? You want a DNA test from me? You want me to prove that I'm your kid? What are you smoking, sir? What are you smoking? Now, with all due respect, here's my thing. My client. Oh my God. Okay, I have to be serious. I have to be serious. I'm worse than my cousin Vinny. It's horrible. Harry has nothing to gain except to satisfy his own curiosity by getting a DNA test at this point, right? Any test that he gets can have only two outcomes. Yes, he's Prince Charles's son. No, he's not Prince Charles's son. Guess what? Right now, he is Prince Charles's son. So the only thing that DNA test can really achieve is to disprove that, right? To disprove what has already been accepted as true. And from a legal perspective, I don't see any reason for him to do that, right? If his curiosity is so overwhelming that for himself he needs to know his identity, and I completely understand that. I mean, am I not suing the British state to know my own DNA and my own origins? Yes, everybody has a right, a fundamental constitutional right to know their origins and their identity if they want. That's their choice. It's their choice. No government, no one has the right to take away someone's identity. And if Harry wanted to know his paternity, he can perhaps force Prince Charles to prove or disprove the paternity. But I don't think King Charles at this point can impose a DNA test on Harry for Harry to prove that King Charles is Harry's father. I mean, I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if I've explained that correctly. But I mean, I would advise Harry say no to any paternity test because guess what? As I said in a previous video, this is a very complicated situation. I mean, Harry could be this man, James Hewitt's son. He could be. I mean, you look at Harry and you look at this guy, James Hewitt, side to side. I mean, it's like a clone of this man. But if you take Harry and you put him next to King Charles's father, the Duke of Edinburgh, at the same age as Harry, it's also a very strong similarity, right? Now, this guy, James Hewitt, he had red hair. So you're like, the red hair, all the features are the same. It's got to be Harry's father. But you know what? All of Harry's relatives on his mother's side, his aunts, his uncle, all of them have red hair. It's a very, very strong gene on the Spencer side of his family, of his genetic pool. So I would say that that red hair could have come from James Hewitt, but it more than likely came from his mother Spencer side. And as far as why he looks so much like James Hewitt, I don't know, because maybe because James Hewitt looks a lot like Harry's paternal grandfather. Maybe that's the problem. What if James Hewitt is King Charles's brother? How about that? How about that? That this guy James Hewitt, this English guy, he's 62. He's younger than Prince Charles by about 10 years. But the Duke of Edinburgh, Harry's grandfather, Queen Elizabeth's husband, I'm sure he was a faithful husband, I'm sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, how many men really are faithful, for the entire duration of the marriage? When the queen is busy doing whatever she's doing, and he's off doing who knows what he's doing, and avec qui il a fait ça. Tu comprends ça ou quoi? Tu comprends ça? I know. I don't think Harry should get a DNA test. I don't think he should get it. I think he should. He should tell them where to go and what to do with themselves. Don't agree to this test for these people. If he wants to do it for himself privately and he feels like the results, if they are adverse, would never get out, okay. But in his place, I wouldn't even take the risk until I'm like 99. You know what I mean? I'm the son of the King of England. Period. There will be no tests. Period. That's my position, and I'm sticking to it. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.